So I guess we've established that we're still doing local government. Local government goes on, even though
as of the time of this recording, we still have a local government.
Which means elections and caucuses will still be happening.
We're rolling.
Calling out cat people. This is a real thing. Real thing.
None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.
So we were supposed to come and talk about Caucus, preview and conventions. Mm-hmm. Caucuses are still happening, right?
They still are happening as of this recording.
Okay, which is Sunday at 4:02 p.m.
They are also still happening in person as of this recording.
Is there? Well, we'll start the show before we get into that, I guess.
Yeah.
And, okay, this is the Wedge Live podcast. I am your host, John Edwards. Joining me today is my authoritative, bald-headed friend, Josh Martin. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here, John.
And, of course, as we record this Sunday at 4 p.m., it's the day after Alex Pretti was killed by federal agents in the Whittier neighborhood at 26th and Nicollet, very close to the Wedge here. The third shooting in 3 weeks by federal agents, two of them leading to deaths. They killed two people so far. The first one was Renee Good. The second one, the man was not killed, but that was in North Minneapolis last week. And Alex Pretti yesterday. And I don't know if Josh and I, as your favorite monotone white guys, can perform the appropriate level of sadness and anger that we're all experiencing right now, but we'll do what we do. And Josh, how are you doing?
Not great. It's been a very stressful time, I think, for everyone in Minneapolis and the surrounding area. There's never really a good time for armed federal agents to be roving around and randomly shooting people.
It's an occupation. We are under occupation here in the Twin Cities.
I agree.
This is what this is. And it's very odd, and maybe as a couple of white guys, we are experts on this topic at least. It is odd to feel this level of oppression as a white person. We're not used to it, right?
I think that's right in that, unfortunately, some people in our country face a higher level of oppression every day.
Same shit, different day for them, but for us, this is a new day.
Yeah, and I can't speak for other communities. I think this is perhaps a little more heightened than what even they ordinarily deal with.
Right.
But certainly heightened compared to what your, average, very white person like us has to deal with on a daily basis.
And so we had a lull after the shooting in North Minneapolis. It was like a week of monitoring the signal chats, the rapid response chats.
Yeah,
and
we had a whole week without them shooting anyone. And
the daily report was it's a slow day out there. And I was thinking, well, this is a disaster. Of course, they're hurting us a lot, but this is a disaster for them. Maybe they're going to draw this down and declare a fake victory and say, mission accomplished. We have suppressed the violent elements in Minneapolis, and now we're withdrawing. But no, here we are the day after that protest downtown, that march with 50,000 people. They're just back at it, executing people on the street and then lying about it, telling the most ridiculous lies about this man who was obviously out there helping people, calm as could be. And everyone telling stories about Alex Pretti who knew him, it's great guy, ICU nurse, like textbook high character person who makes a sympathetic figure on TV, and they're lying about him, calling him a domestic terrorist who's out there to do mass murder. I don't know what the point is. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish here. And obviously the lull did not indicate they were going to draw down and declare fake victory and get out of here. And there's no reason to think this won't continue to happen.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It does seem like the criticism has ramped up of the Trump administration, and from some people who had just been silent before. A lot of business leaders put together a somewhat lackluster statement, but it was more than they had done previously. It just like kind of talks about everyone coming together, but like it, I think it's one side particularly that is causing the violence, and there are even some lackluster statements coming out from some Republicans, which was more than they had done previously. So,
God bless
we'll
the Republicans and their lackluster statements. We were so used to them cheering on the violence that we are just so grateful for their lackluster statements. I've been pissed off by some of the stupid, meaningless stories. Did you hear about the police chief? I forget which suburb it was, who wrote the social media post about this being like a painful divorce, and like we're the children suffering under the painful divorce of our two parents, the two political parties, as if this is a both sides thing. Like why can't our parents come together and act like adults, kind of stuff. It really pissed me off because he got interviewed on Fox 9. Like, this is good. You think this is brilliant political analysis, Fox 9, that you can bring him on and interview him about
I think in that analogy, the judge should be granting full custody towards one of the parties, since the other
one parent is homicidal.
Some really severe problems. Yeah,
this is a domestic violence situation. If you're going to be doing metaphors, it's not like, oh, these parents are taking it out on their kids. I was so irritated by that. I watch a lot of TV news because I want to see like what the least informed people in society, how they get their information. That's why I do this, and it's probably making me dumber. Because everyone who reads articles, if you're reading longer form articles, you are among the best informed people on the planet. And it's the people who get their news from, like TikTok, who are the dumbest. I don't do TikTok, so I watch just endless stream of YouTube local TV stories. And that's why I've become a critic of local TV. So I really hated that police chief story. He thought he was so clever. And then, did you see the press conference with the police chiefs who were like, they are harassing our off-duty officers of color, ICEs?
I didn't watch the press conference itself, but I saw some of the coverage of it, so I know what you're talking about. And
I guess they're doing this because they want to appeal to Republicans, giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're doing a both sides thing where it's like, it's just, we know most ICE agents are out there doing a great job. It's just we have endless stories of them harassing people of color who are doing nothing wrong other than having the wrong skin color. The sheriff, DeWanna Witt, was using that line. Who else? Was it Brooklyn Park's police chief, Bruley? Who was the main guy telling that story. It's like, this isn't a bad apple situation. This is systemic. Like, it's coming from the top. This problem is coming from the top. Another thing I've been thinking about, Josh, is that 2025 was the year of demonizing Minneapolis progressives, like the left at large. Remember that election that we just had when...
I do remember that, yes.
The existential threat to Minneapolis was the far left, the DSA types, which I guess includes me. I'm not in the DSA. Taylor has joined the DSA. I have not. But they lump us all together. And people who are... those are the people who are on the front lines of this, organizing, and they're in the streets watching and blowing their whistle and putting their lives at risk to observe and document what ICE is doing. And like not just the level of disrespect that was shown last year during the election, but like disdain and hate and the idea that they were an existential threat to the city. I don't know, in retrospect, it seems even worse to me.
Yeah, I think that's right now, especially now that we see what a real existential threat to the city looks like.
So I guess we've established that we're still doing local government. Local government goes on, even though...
As of the time of this recording, we still have a local government.
Which means elections and caucuses will still be happening.
We have to append a lot of things that would ordinarily just be things you would say with at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Like, as this has been unfolding, I'm like, I don't want to do a couple of things I don't want to do with my life is like a breaking news every day, talk about the news kind of podcast. And also,
this wasn't supposed to be a breaking news podcast. We were just supposed to talk about caucuses. This was supposed to be a real boring podcast.
Look, the occupation and the public executions of our neighbors was supposed to end so we could do just a normal, regular episode. But it continues. And the impotence of our local government, and intellectually I understand we have a federal government that is vastly more powerful. So I don't want to be one of those people who's like Tim Walz turned the National Guard on ICE, because I don't know that I'm smart enough to figure out how that ends up. You feel helpless.
Yeah.
Our state and local government can do nothing for us except file lawsuits. And just remarkable that they had to get a search warrant to get access to the crime scene. The state of Minnesota did to sue.
Yeah,
to get a search warrant.
And then ICE still wouldn't let them access the site, and so then they sued, and told the judge to ask the judge to tell ICE to stop contaminating the crime scene, and the judge was like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, and they had to be ordered, don't destroy evidence. This is what we've come down to.
It's usually a given, is my understanding of how things are supposed to work.
Federal law enforcement.
Not being an expert on law or law enforcement. But.
We do. In normal times, we take it for granted. The federal government won't destroy evidence and do a cover-up. But now thankfully, we have judges stepping in to put orders down. But anyway... It's caucus season, right?
It is caucus season. It's very special caucus season.
During a time when no one is going to want... there's a lot of people who don't want to go outside, Josh. Right? There's a lot of racial profiling going on. We just finished doing our segment on the federal occupation. There are people who will not necessarily want to show up to a caucus site. They will have darker skin. They might have an accent. All the characteristics that federal law enforcement uses to pull you aside, harass you, abduct you, take you, and put you in a deep, dark hole. And so is there anything being done to mitigate that?
Do we want to back up and talk about what caucuses are, or do we assume your listeners are just all big nerds who know what caucuses are?
Caucuses are the thing that really makes no sense to do, but we do it anyway. People gather in a room, and they hang out with their most irritating neighbors and kind of express... They try to get elected as delegates to a convention where they will... endorse candidates for office. And sometimes it's a multi-step process. In that first convention, you're trying to get elected to whatever comes next. My approach to caucuses and conventions is not to think about it too hard. I'm not an expert. Josh is an expert. I just try to get elected to everything. You show up, you try to get elected to everything, no matter what it is, and then you try to figure out why it's important later and who's running later. I don't even pay attention to who's running at this point when caucuses are happening, because I know this is going to be a months-long process of pain. Have I explained it correctly?
I think that's a reasonable summary.
Fill in the gaps.
So, well, like you said, you at caucuses, people will be elected as delegates to various conventions. In Minneapolis, we're going to be electing 3 sets of delegates to their Senate District Convention, to the Hennepin County Convention, and to the City Convention. And then at the Senate District Convention is where we will elect the delegates who go on to the Congressional District and State Convention. And at all of those various conventions, they'll be endorsing people for various public offices. People also discuss resolutions at caucuses, and those end up moving up through the ranks and eventually making it to the state convention. And then there's some other things that happen as well, like electing party officers. So you asked about what we're doing this year, given the somewhat unique circumstances we're in. As of the time of this recording, precinct caucuses are still in person. The DFL does have a thing called the non-attendee form. That's not new to this year. It's something that has always existed, which allows someone who is unable to attend precinct caucuses for whatever reason to fill out a form, and basically the form is like, please elect me to be a delegate, or whatever other positions you might be interested in. A non-attendee form is not a vote. It does not count in the case of any contested votes or elections. And historically, the people who show up in person tend to have an advantage in getting the delegate spots. Usually the non-attendee forms kind of get pushed aside if there's a contest. The state party is sending out guidance this year that the circumstances this year are somewhat different. There are somewhat different reasons why people may not be able to attend precinct caucuses this year. So we're trying to really encourage delegates to take that into account when they elect delegates, and really take seriously the idea of electing some of the people on the non-attendee forms. However, there have been no formal changes to the rules, so it's ultimately up to the delegates who are present in person to decide what they want to do for electing delegates in other positions. We are also working with, there will be signage, telling ICE to keep out. We're also going to have lawyers on call and potentially on site at some of the higher risk locations.
This is horrifying. This is
constitutional
horrifying.
Observer training. It is horrifying
that we have to do this, and it's a prelude to what we could see during an actual election. Like, is this a proving ground for, we are beefing up our secret police force, ICE and the Border Patrol, hiring a bunch of goons, untrained goons, I prefer my goons trained, to show up at potentially polling places. Right now it's caucus sites. What if they show up and try to be election police at a polling site, or just drive around the block constantly so people don't vote? This is horrifying.
Yeah, I think that is a concern. There are somewhat more legal protections for polling places than there are for caucus sites. However, this is not an administration that historically has cared very much about the law.
They really respect court orders.
I do think that is a serious concern as we enter into the primary election in August and the general election in November. I don't know. I'm kind of taking it one step at a time right now. I'm focused on caucuses and conventions, and that's tomorrow's problem. Right.
And not that any political party should be expected to solve our nation's fascism problem, but just unbelievable the times that we're living in. But only to say, these mitigation steps, good luck. Good luck with that making a difference. Sorry to be Mr. Skeptical, but like, if any hotly contested races where there's reasonably high caucus turnout, like, of course the non-attendee forms are going to get discarded. People who run, you could barely find enough people to run caucuses, let alone find, people who do it, who run a super tight ship. I don't know how I feel about caucuses and conventions anymore. Are you still pro, Josh? You still think they're great?
I'm still pro caucuses and conventions. I'll say it's a challenge to to manage them under these circumstances, and I do think that the state party needs to more seriously consider some changes this year to account for those circumstances, but I am supportive of caucuses and conventions overall.
It's just rapid fire. We don't have any time to recover from one tragedy before we're on to the next. It's too, not to change the subject from caucuses, but we don't have any time to just live our lives. Okay, what are the races? We got Hennepin County Commissioner races. We have a Hennepin County Attorney race. We've got a Senate race that people are all jazzed about. Am I missing any?
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on this year, and there are reasons turn out to caucuses. Certainly what's been the big ticket for a while is the U.S. Senate race, where Tina Smith is retiring, so Angie Craig and Peggy Flanagan are running for her seat. That one we anticipate will be fairly hotly contested. In Congressional District 5, which includes Minneapolis, incumbent Ilhan Omar is being challenged by DNC member LaTanya Reeves. Governor is an interesting one. Governor was anticipated for a while that it might not be very interesting because Tim Walz was running for a third term. And then a few weeks ago, he announced he was no longer running for a third term. So I believe as of the time of this recording, we technically have no candidates for governor, although it's been reported that Amy Klobuchar has filed paperwork and probably will officially announce very soon. Mm-hmm. And I should mention on caucus night, there is a gubernatorial preference ballot where people can vote for a candidate of their choice for governor. Those results are not binding, but the state makes us do it, so we do it. And the media has a lot of fun with those results. So people can vote in the gubernatorial preference ballot on caucus night. Attorney General and Secretary of State Keith Ellison and Steve Simon are running for re-election. State Auditor is another statewide race that is open. Julie Blaha, the incumbent, is retiring. There are 4 DFL candidates for State Auditor: Ben Shearer, Dan Wolgamott, Adam Jennings, and Zach Filipovich.
Mm-hmm. What made you think we wanted to know the names of Democrats running for State Auditor?
Well, State Auditor is a very important office, John, and people may care about these things.
Okay. Of all the races to read off the list of names, I thought you were going to do county board candidates first.
I'll get to county, don't worry.
Okay.
Now, in Minneapolis, we actually, for a change, don't really have any contested races for state legislature. As of the time of this recording, all the incumbents are running for re-election.
I mean, for a change, that's how it usually is, right? We have we had, 61A was contested pretty heavily, and then like the special election.
Yes. So overall, incumbents run for re-election. In recent years, we've had like at least one retirement in state legislative races, but this time around, we don't appear to have any in Minneapolis. Yes, county is getting pretty interesting. For county attorney, there are 6 candidates right now. Mary Moriarty is not running for re-election. The candidates right now are Cedric Frazier, Anders Folk, Hao Wynn, Matt Pelican, Francis Shen, and Diane Krenz.
Did you see what the hell was going on with Matt Pelican posting that thing on, was it on Facebook, where he's like, Minnesota is pretty good, like making a pun out of the names of people killed by federal agents? What was that?
I think you explained it. I can't explain his reasoning behind that decision, but I think you accurately explained what happened. Yeah.
I've also seen signs like that out in public. Like, what are people thinking? I don't know. You know, Josh, you've gotten far less interesting as you've become like a party ladder climber. You don't want to criticize anyone.
Well, I do have to be careful. I have publicly announce at this point I'm running for Congressional District 5 DFL chair. If I were to get that role, that pretty severely limits what I'll be able to say on a lot of races until there's a DFL endorsement. So for Hennepin County especially, I'm going to have to be pretty careful now because the CD5 convention will be before the Hennepin County convention. And it would be a little awkward to come out supporting or criticizing people now and then get elected and be like, have to walk all that back.
This has been coming on for a long...
I'm neutral. I have no opinion now.
It's been coming on for a long time, Josh. You've become increasingly less interesting as a political analyst for at least a year, I think. Like you've had these ambitions, you must have, because of how just incredibly boring you are lately. No criticism for anything or anyone. We lost Hot Dog Larry Jacobs as our finest political analyst. Got elected to the park board, and now I think we're going to lose Josh, because why wouldn't you make him your next Congressional District 5 chair? Why do you want that job, Josh? Why would you want to do that? Why do you want to be the next Scott Graham? You see how merciless we are with Scott Graham. And now it's going to be you. We're going to be making fun of you.
Well, I can't control what you or anyone else does to make fun of me or whoever the next CD5 chair might be. There were a lot of efforts to find somebody to run for CD5 chair. I was one of the people who was asked and eventually was talked into it. I do believe in the DFL and in the DFL party processes, including caucuses and conventions. And if we want to see those continue to happen and continue to happen successfully, we're going to need good people in place to be able to run those things. So that's my goal, really, is to be able to improve the DFL and continue caucuses and conventions. So, there's nothing exciting about it. It's not like running for public office.
So, yeah, it's worse. The people party ladder climbers are just far more irritating and bigger assholes than people who run for elected office, because
not all of them.
They're not good enough. They're not good enough to get elected to a real thing. So they get elected to a party position, and they're just objectively far worse people than our elected officials are, I think.
I think you need to get to know more DFL party officers. I think
I've
you've
been to
gotten
some
to know
events,
a very
Josh.
particular subset, and it has maybe tainted your view of DFL party officers.
Even the ones I like, they irritate me. Even the ones I kind of like kind of irritate me. So I'm worried about you and I.
Well, I'm sad to hear that I'll be added to that list soon, John. I'll add that to the list of the sacrifices I'm making to be able to take on this role, potentially destroying my friendship with John Edwards.
Explain to me what the CD5 chair job is. Like, are you overlord of lower units?
No.
Like, what is the structure there? So what can you influence, and what are you helping to organize aside from like the convention for the CD5?
So the Congressional District 5 DFL chair runs CD5 well, not single-handedly, of course. There's other officers. There's Central Committee and Executive Committee. But that includes leading that convention. That includes or leading planning for that convention, I should say. That also includes leading efforts in between conventions to fundraise for CD5, to try to get our candidates elected, to do party building, to help out candidates get elected in other areas. CD5 also, CD5 leadership and CD3 leadership jointly run the Hennepin County Convention. And then the chairs of the congressional districts serve as members of the state executive committee. So in that capacity, I'll also be part of the body that's overseeing the state party. But no, as CD5, I don't necessarily have any formal control over party units within the district. Hopefully, maybe the title and the ability to persuade people means something, but no, like I can't order a Senate district in CD5 to do anything. I can't order Minneapolis DFL to do anything, even if I were elected to this position.
So I had a pretty low opinion of Scott Graham already, and then when he got elected to the CD5 chair, I had a lower opinion of him. So I don't think, if you're looking for this to increase your influence, I don't know that it will. Stone-faced. Look at you, Josh, not having any opinions here.
We'll see what happens. Somebody's got to do it. We were in the middle of county, but when you berated me for running for CD5 chair.
So county attorney, maybe I should go through that. I talked to Cedric Frazier, who's a state legislator who's had a focus on criminal justice reform issues as a legislator. As you will be able to tell in my conversation with him on the most recent episode of the podcast, that I'm just completely ignorant of anything happening in the state legislature. But I talked to him. I think I'm going to have, is it when? I think I'm going to be able to talk to him. Nobody else is responding to me. I don't know if it's going to spam. But how Wynn and Cedric Frazier are the only ones who have responded to the illustrious Wedge Live podcast. So sorry, you can't win without going through the Wedge. Those are the rules.
County Sheriff Duana Witt is running unopposed for re-election. County Commissioner, those are staggered, so basically they have all of the suburban districts at once, and then all of the Minneapolis districts at once. This is our year, so we have the Minneapolis districts this year. In District 4, Angela Conley is running unopposed. The incumbents in Districts 2 and 3 are also running for re-election, but they have opponents. Irene Fernando has drawn 2 opponents, Minneapolis School Board member Sharon Elamine and Viviana Salazar. And then in District 3, Marion Green has drawn 4 opponents.
It's a real clown car.
Josh Basay, Kevin Chavez, Abdi Hakim Ibrahim, who's a school board member in St. Louis Park, and Anthony Walsh, although I think he might be running his third party. I'm not positive on that.
You know, I'd forgotten the federal occupation of Minneapolis had made me forget about Josh Basay. Just feel like I'm learning it again for the first time that Josh Basay never went away. Josh, are you also not allowed to have opinions about Josh Basay anymore?
I'm not allowed to have opinions about the county races. As I said, if I were to become CD5 chair, I'll need to stay very neutral in the Hennepin County races, since I'll be running planning for that convention along with leadership from CD3.
Well, I want to apologize to the audience for Josh just giving me stone-faced looks. No response at all to all of my invitations to denigrate and make fun of the wild cast of characters that are lining up to entertain us for election 2026. You're giving me nothing. This is basically your farewell to the Wedge Live podcast, I think. And you're giving us nothing.
I mean, at this point, I guess I'm just a guest and a source rather than an analyst.
Yeah. Be honest, Josh. You don't tell me anything anyway. And I don't even try to pump you for information because Mr. Scruples over here won't tell me anything. All other kinds of people are leaking left and right. Josh won't tell me anything.
You heard, if any of my DFL overlords are listening, you heard it here first on the Wedge Live podcast. I will not tell John anything.
No fun in a one-on-one chat. No fun in a limited person group chat. Just won't say anything. Like, we're just trying to have fun online, Josh, and you give us nothing.
Yeah. Are you going to need to do one of your, in memoriam segments now for me? Is this the death of Josh Martin as far as Wedge Live is concerned?
I haven't done one of those in a while, but maybe. And so we were talking about Klobuchar and how like people are just never in a million years. A lot of people on the left have problems with Amy Klobuchar, and same with Dewana Witt, like kind of a milquetoast sheriff who, I don't know what you can expect from your top elected police officer in Hennepin County, but not even being the level of firebrand that Police Chief Brian O'Hara is. I know she's got like a wider swath of people to try and keep happy. People are like, they don't want to see these people reelected. They're going to fight so hard to stop them from being reelected, but somebody needs to run against them. And if nobody runs against them, it's not like you're not going to vote for the Republican in those races, I don't think. I hope you're not going to stay home and not vote at all. But like, if you are somebody highly motivated to not see someone reelected, now is the time to go out there and find a candidate. I guess you got to go find a cop to run against Dewana Witt for sheriff. They need opponents, right? So don't get your hopes up about, taking them down.
It certainly is a factual statement. You can't beat someone with no one. And you are correct that for sheriff, one of the eligibility requirements is that they be a licensed peace officer.
Yeah.
There's school board. School board
Really?
seems
We're
to
doing
be
school board this year?
We are doing school board this year. So at the Minneapolis City Convention, there will be endorsements for school board. School board is also staggered. So they have the even seats in one year and the odd seats in another. We're on the odd seat year. So it's going to be districts 1, 3, and 5, and 2 of the 3 at-large seats. So far, Lori Norvell is not running for re-election in District 5. Joyner Emmerich is not running for re-election for one of the at-large seats. And it's not clear who is running for those seats or what's happening in the other seats yet. School board seems to be moving a little more slowly than a lot of the other races this year. So we're not really sure what's going on with school board yet.
This is the year I have to pretend to know things about the schools when I talk to candidates, I guess.
Yeah.
Really.
You'll have to find somebody to educate you about the schools.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to pretend. I pretend. my way
Okay,
through
that works too.
I think of school board as worse park board, more painful park board, and with kids. Just add some kids to the mix, make it worse, make it 10 times worse, and that's school board. And I already think park board's pretty bad. Did you see our friend Jason Garcia, commissioner in District 4 for the park board, got a talking to from Kathy Abeni?
I did see that, yep.
That was a painful experience for me, that whole meeting. And then at the end, I got a photo of that and just loved it. I loved it. Josh smiled at that.
Kathy Abeni's not running for election this year.
Okay, so you can make fun of Kathy Abeni.
She also was not DFL endorsed.
All right, fair game. Put out the wanted poster on Kathy Abeni for Josh Martin. Okay. Well, hopefully we've communicated to the audience that this is a big local election year. Even though you're exhausted and you don't have any time to think about this stuff, it is important who we elect to local government, as much as they seem incredibly impotent to do anything to protect us at this moment. Hopefully at some point in the future, it'll start to matter again who we elect to these offices. County board, huge budget. It, as Keith Ellison is showing us, kind of important who we elect to be our top, prosecutors and, lawyers when it comes to Hennepin County, the county attorney. We got Mary Moriarty out there soliciting video evidence, and hopefully one day we'll be able to participate in the prosecution of these federal agents who are murdering people. I'd rather have a fighter in these positions than not, even if they are at a big disadvantage to the federal government. So these are very important roles. So show up to caucus if you can. And I'm sorry, under our current regime of, stringent racial profiling, that some of you don't feel safe enough to do that. That is a tragedy. And more people should be standing up to say this is unacceptable.
Yeah, I think that's all right, John. And I would say, it might feel like these local elections don't matter now, but it could always be worse. We could have leadership at the state and local level that is, it's hard to imagine at the local level, but at the state level, for example, what if a Republican were to become governor? What if we had a Republican attorney general? Then I think we're looking at a situation where they're actively cooperating with the federal government and ICE to terrorize our neighbors.
That's a good point, Josh, because I know, as we have talked, there are people who are like, never Amy Klobuchar, but like, clearly we are all voting for Amy Klobuchar if she clears the field, and it's just her.
I will absolutely vote for Amy Klobuchar over Mike Lindell or Lisa Demuth or whatever of the like 27 people that the Republicans are running.
Yeah, nobody's sitting this one out. If you can possibly cast your vote or participate in the process, please do so, because that's a good point, Josh. I can't even imagine a Republican governor at this moment. Like, what are we dealing with, the state patrol joining in on this shit?
Seems very possible.
Had not even occurred to me.
Guard. Yeah.
Had not even occurred to me because the problems we have are so large. It had not occurred to me all the ways that it could be worse. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad to leave you on that cheery note that just remember it could always be worse.
Although part of the hostage taking here is you're not voting the right way, Minnesota, right? Trump is out there pretending he won Minnesota 3 times. That's his line. He's unhappy that Tim Walz was on the ticket against him. We don't vote for him. We vote for people like Ilhan Omar. We've got a Somali population that they want to gin up hate against. We have all the values of decency and progressivism that they want to demonize. And so we are being punished for our political orientation here. And I think part of the message is start voting the right way. Maybe we pull back and we ease up on the pain, because if this was really about immigration and people in the country undocumented, they'd be in Texas and they'd be in Florida. And Republicans in Texas and Florida want no part of this. They don't want their communities torn up, their economies destroyed by this chaos. They don't want that. So, paradoxically, we might be in a better situation with Republican leadership in the state because they would take it easy on us. We'd be worse off, clearly, but like, nobody wants
That's the argument they're trying to make.
Nobody wants the Ron DeSantis of Minnesota as our next governor, but like, I don't think they would be doing this if Tim Walz was. It's not Tim Walz's fault, but I think they would not be doing this if their allies were in control.
Yeah, I don't know how effective that strategy is for them. I would guess that this is turning people against Trump and the Republican Party even more strongly. And we should say, for the record, Trump says he won Minnesota 3 times. He actually lost Minnesota 3 times.
Yes.
I think the way things are going, Trump will lose Minnesota for the Republicans again.
Anything else, Josh?
I don't know. It's hard to know what to tell people right now. They don't give us a playbook for how to handle the federal occupation.
This has been the Wedge Live podcast. I'm your host, John Edwards. Thank you to Josh Martin, future DFL CD5 chair, for joining me. And thanks to all of you for what you do. Thanks for listening.
This is a real thing. Real thing.
None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.